If you fly 2 times a year, I would at least consider the Platinum card. Today we're going to look at 7 reasons why the Platinum card is the king of airport lounge cards. Big favor, crown this video with a like to help with the algorithm, and if you are someone new here and you want to upgrade that travel experience, consider subscribing. Let's get the obvious out of the way. The Platinum card is expensive. In 2022, it's $695, and that number can look pretty scary. The good thing though is that there are a ton of credits that help you offset this, technically up to $1,400. In our head, all we need to really do is get up to about $700 in value from those credits. That way we offset the annual fee and get these lounge benefits effectively for free. For me, the easiest ones to value are the $200 airline incidental, $100 SACs, $200 Uber, and the $200 new hotel credit. My rationale for the first 3 is that those were ones that people valued before anyways when the annual fee was at $550. $200 hotel credit's pretty easy for me to use because I used the Fine Hotel and Resorts program anyways before it was part of this as a credit. Tons of Vegas hotels where it might be $70 to $150 a night, but you end up getting that night and also something like $160 in food. When I go to Vegas, I eat anyways, pretty much the reason I'm going there, so all of it works out. With that said, now that we understand that the annual fee is a lot more reasonable, the first big benefit of the card is that you get access to the Centurion Lounge network. Centurion Lounges are some of the best options for domestic travelers and people who fly economy. The food, snacks, coffee, and even alcohol are free inside the lounge. Pretty much everything is free, and a lot of them also have things like showers. Of the 28 major US airports, 13 of them have Centurion Lounges. For the people who feel left out, you'll be surprised when we look at the Delta benefits. Stepping away from the boring numbers, here is my 1-sentence review for each of these lounges. Charlotte, I still need to visit. Dallas has pretty good food. Denver, I think they need a few more employees given the traffic. Houston has probably some of the best service out there. Vegas, on average, probably has the best food. LAX is still on my list. Ironically, same thing with Miami. LaGuardia is pretty cozy. JFK probably has some of the best amenities and the best setup out there. I like the food in Philly as well, and they're pretty good bartenders. Phoenix is on my list for this year. SFO, I really like their bar. SFO and Seattle are due for updates in 2022 to make them a lot bigger. Seattle is pretty cozy. Domestically, they're also adding a lounge in 2022 to Washington Reagan, and they're aiming for one in Atlanta, but there's no timeline for that one. If you're someone who drinks a lot of alcohol or you need coffee like me, or if you eat a lot of food, you can save a ton of money. If you're someone who lives abroad or you travel a lot abroad, then this can be pretty interesting as well. So they have these international lounges, and it depends on where you're based. If you're someone in Europe, so London or Stockholm, then you have 2 options there. My friend Jake Tran went to the London lounge and he was pretty surprised by how good the service was. If you're based in APAC, there's a ton of options as well. Hong Kong, Mumbai, Delhi, Melbourne, and also Sydney. Same thing with Latin America, there's Buenos Aires, Sao Paulo, Mexico City, as well as Monterrey. If you're someone super excited about this, please make sure that the card actually makes sense for you. We have a calculator on our site, AskSebby, that helps you figure this out. If it is a fit, I'd recommend checking Card Match to see if you have an elevated offer. A lot of people, especially new people, end up seeing 150,000 points. I'll leave a blog post to figure out how Card Match works down below in the description box. If you want to learn about cards, whether it's American Express or some other issuer, you want to support the channel, links on our website, AskSebby.com, and also down below in the description box. Huge way to support the channel, so thank you guys in advance. Okay, great, there's a ton of international options, but what about domestic ones that are not the ones that you listed? One of the really cool things about the Platinum card is that you can access Delta SkyClubs when you're flying Delta. You do not need to pay for your flight with the Delta card. All you need to do is go to the lounge showing that you have a Delta flight and also your card, or even just add the Platinum card into your Delta app. As a Delta flyer, I'm a pretty happy camper, especially since you can go into these lounges when you arrive. Easy example is if I fly from SF to New York City doing a red-eye flight, I'm going to get a coffee anyways at some point, so I might as well get a free one at the lounge. Pretty easy way to save $5. If you have checked bags, then you are kind of trusting that no one steals it, but in my experience, it's been fine. There's definitely been times where I turned a 5-minute coffee into a 25-minute full-on breakfast. Going back to the list of the major US airports, there are going to be 5 that don't have Centurion Lounges that are Delta super hubs. Atlanta is probably the easiest example, being the headquarters of Delta, with 67.2% of their flights being Delta. There's also 7 Delta SkyClubs here. Minnesota is at 48.18%. There's only 2 lounges, but I would argue that it's the best Delta SkyClub out there in terms of food. Of the 2 times I've visited, they've had amazing food. Detroit is at 43.06%, and there's going to be 4 Delta SkyClubs. Salt Lake City is pretty crazy. 75.54% of flights through that airport are going to be Delta. There is currently only 1 lounge, but it's huge and it reminds me of a ski resort. There's an outdoor area and also a little fireplace area that I really like. Last one is LaGuardia at 41.1%, and there's 3 lounges here. If you're someone who flies Delta and you can get at least some of the value from those credits, it's pretty easy to justify the Platinum card. The food here is free. Alcohol depends on what you're getting. Generally, beer and wine is free, but if you want cocktails, you do have to pay. Since the guest entry rules can change for these lounges pretty easily, I'm going to put a blog post down below talking about what they look like. United and American Airlines have similar cards of Chase and City. The main issue is that they have pretty large annual fees and no credits to help you offset this. As much as people like to crap on the $6.95 annual fee and the fact that you have a bunch of credits, I'd rather still take that than just pay $5.25 upfront with no credits at all. Maybe I'm alone in that, but I'll happily pay more upfront if the net amount is lower. Okay, but what about people who fly out of smaller airports? Number 4, with the Platinum card, you get access to escape lounges and also airspace lounges. For escape lounges, I've been to the one in Oakland a few times. Pretty good, not as much foot traffic, so a bit slower on the food. The footprint also doesn't look that bad. Feel free to pause this if you are affected by this. But yeah, it doesn't help everyone, but still helps some people. Airspace is kind of the opposite of this. I'm kind of surprised that they're still alive. They used to have one in JFK, but it was probably the worst lounge experience I've ever had, and they've shut down. They currently have one in San Diego. I'll probably try to visit at some point, but yeah, not really on the top of my list. Okay, but those seem pretty specific. What about everyone else? One of the benefits of the Platinum card is that you get Priority Pass as well, and this gets you access to over 1,300 lounges. Reminder that you do need to activate this in the Benefits tab in order for them to send you the card. I've seen way too many angry people trying to get into Priority Pass lounges with just the Platinum card and getting rejected. The one disadvantage of these Priority Pass cards from the Platinum card is that they do not get you into restaurants. So when you look at the Priority Pass site, they have restaurants as well as lounges. You only get into lounges for free. This is the same for all other American Express based Priority Pass cards. I think this has to do either with cost or some other thing in the background. This can change in the future, so if you're a time traveler, I'd check that blog post. But as of filming, the Priority Pass card gets you as well as 2 guests into these Priority Pass lounges for free. Lounges might have their own specific rules that we can't really control for, but yeah, generally speaking, per the rules, you plus 2 guests. Any additional guests you have are going to be $32 each. I personally find that Priority Pass works a lot better internationally compared to domestically, and the international versions of these lounges tend to be a lot better as well. In Europe, for example, it's pretty common to have cheese and stuff like that versus just chips in the US. Singapore is probably the best example of this, where there's a ton of options for Priority Pass for these lounges. Last reminder that lounges do enter and exit Priority Pass all the time, oftentimes due to contract negotiations. This relates to number 6, which is that the Platinum card gets you into Plaza Premium lounges. The funny part of this is that Plaza Premium and Priority Pass used to work pretty closely together, but on July 1st of 2021, they had a breakup, and you can no longer get into 57 of these Plaza Premium lounges with your Priority Pass card. With the Platinum card, you can still get into these lounges. This can change, but as of filming, you can get in with your card and you can bring 1 guest. Plaza Premium lounges are pretty solid in my experience. I actually like them a lot because you know what you're expecting. They're not going to blow your pants off, but you know exactly what you're getting in terms of food, service, as well as just experience. Generally a pretty good place to grab a local style bite and just relax. Number 7 is Lufthansa. This gets you access into some of their lounges at some airports when you're flying the major airlines in their group. As of filming, that's going to be Lufthansa, Swiss, as well as Austria. For normal people who are flying economy, you can enter their business class lounge. If you're someone flying business, then you can enter the senator lounges. If you have a Centurion card, then regardless of what you're flying, whether it's economy, business, or first, you can enter their first class lounges. This currently works at a ton of different airports, and I wouldn't be surprised if this changes based off travel in 2022 and also them just expanding this. In the US, there's currently a ton: Boston, Detroit, Newark, JFK, as well as IAD Washington. The EU has a ton that I'm not even going to read the full list, but it includes London, Paris, Milan, and also the major German ones. I would not be surprised if American Express goes to other airline groups with this because it's been their modern playbook. Give our Platinum card holders credits and also access to benefits because you want these people as customers. All 7 of these are the reasons why I think the Platinum card is the king of airport lounge cards, and you could even make the case of it being the king of travel cards. Whether you're globetrotting, you are a Delta loyalist and you fly them a ton, or you feel like the Priority Pass card just isn't doing enough, I think the Platinum card is worth a test drive. If you're interested in the Platinum card, make sure that it makes financial sense. Please use the calculator. And if you are new, check Card Match to see if you're targeted. Card Match link down below. And if you want to learn about cards, whether American Express, Chase, someone else, links on our site, AskSebby, and also down below in the description box. As much as I love Amex lounges, I think the Delta lounges are on top for me. Let me know down below top 1 and top 3. Big favor, give this a thumbs up, share with anyone else who might benefit. But otherwise, hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time.